Back at the Sports Pavilion in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where nearly 5,000 are on hand to watch Nebraska and Minnesota square off in Big Ten women's volleyball. Let's take a look at the starting lineups tonight. They're brought to you by Tachikara and the Cornhuskers visiting this Minnesota team. You see Katie Rolfson and Kelsey Robinson on the left side, Megan Haggerty, Cecilia Hall, Amber Rolfson on the right, and Mary Paul Miller will be the setter. Justine Wong-Arantes, the libero for this Cornhusker team. The home team, the Golden Gophers, with Ashley Whitman, Dolly Santana, Tori Dixon, Hannah Tapp, Audriana Nora, and Alexandra Palmer. Lindsay Lawmaster, the libero for this Minnesota squad. Take a look at the head coaches for both of these teams. Hugh McCutcheon, in his second season, led Minnesota to the NCAA regional final and a tie for second place in the Big Ten last year, the former U.S. national team head coach. And John Cook for the Cornhuskers in his 14th season overall, two-time National Coach of the Year, two-time national champion with Nebraska, and trying to get a young team back in the chance to go after a Big Ten title. They won the Big Ten title in the first season that Nebraska was in the conference. Take a look at the series history between these two teams. Nebraska leads it all time, but in the meetings they've played since the Cornhuskers have joined the Big Ten Conference, 4 of the 5 meetings have gone to Nebraska, with the only win for Minnesota here at home last year on November 16th. So almost set to get underway. You mentioned these two teams vying for that second place spot. They know if they want to go after the Big Ten title, they have to have this match to keep pace with a Penn State team that is first in the Big Ten.
That's right, and both teams have very loyal fans that are watching this much anticipated match. Again, for Minnesota, they want to play a little bit better than they did on the road at Nebraska. As you mentioned already, Mike, they lost that 3 straight sets. And for Nebraska, the key is, can they play well on the road? These are young freshmen that are playing some vital positions for Nebraska. Can they do a good job against this very motivated Minnesota team?
Hugh McCutcheon said that his Gopher squad played average at best in Lincoln, Nebraska, but they've been much better as of late, winning 4 matches in a row. Nebraska has won 5 in a row. Cornhuskers at 11-2 in the Big Ten Conference, 18-4 overall. Minnesota 22-4 and 10-3 in the Big Ten. Just moments away from first serve. You see this Nebraska squad. You mentioned all of the youth. You have the Rolfson twins out there on the floor, but really everyone on the floor with the exception of Megan Haggerty, a newcomer this year for Nebraska as their upperclassmen. 2 of them are transfers from Tennessee, and Kelsey Robinson and Mary Paul Miller, as we're underway with Paul Miller serving from the back line. The first point to the Cornhuskers on the ace.
Well, the first ball goes to Ashley Whitman on serve receive. Nebraska has got to serve aggressively. We talked to Cook about how important that serve is. He said serving tough on the road is really tough. It's easy to serve tough at home. You're used to the environment. And right now they're doing a good job. As you can see, another poor pass by Whitman.
Free ball chance for Nebraska. The back set goes to Amber Rolfson down the line. The up from Lawmaster. Another chance for Amber on the right side. And the whistle on the antenna touch and the point to Minnesota.
And it's important to note on that first rotation, Minnesota's blocking scheme has changed already. They kept Whitman on the right side. They had another left side player playing that left side position. So in that rotation, we're going to see if they keep Whitman blocking on the right side.
The kill for Cecilia Hall for the Cornhuskers, and good to see that as Nebraska on Friday night against Wisconsin did not have the connection going with their middles. Audrey, you mentioned how important it is for that block on the right side for Minnesota. Kelsey Robinson for Nebraska had 21 kills in the first meeting, so Minnesota wants to keep that from happening again. But Nora, strong start for her with the kill.
Yeah, Audriana Nora could be the X factor tonight. She has really improved, and you can see by that thunderous hit right out of the gate here, she's ready to play.
Moved into that role on the right side. She was splitting time early on with Sarah Wilhite. Tied at 2 in the first set. Paul Miller with the set to Amber Rolfson. The tip over and the kill for Amber.
Well, Amber putting a nice tip in that right front area of the court. As a drop-off blocker, you want to anticipate not only the attack, but the tip. That ball really should have been controlled. It should have been a transition offensive attack for Minnesota.
Take a look at the officials in this match. Palmer with the set in the middle to Tori Dixon. Now the back set to Nora. See Katie Rolfson for the first time defensively. Kelsey Robinson goes cross court, has another chance, can't put it away. And finally does. Kelsey Robinson has been phenomenal this year, and she's off to a good start in the first set.
Yeah, she's just a different type of left side player. Her mentality is a little bit more competitive, a little bit more driven than most left side hitters. And she's a special player that gets big numbers, but it's also that competitive spirit that she brings to this Nebraska team.
Tooling off the block is Nora in a 4-3 start. Nora involved early on for the Golden Gophers. And Nora, junior out of Stillwater, Minnesota, transferred from Baylor, where she spent 2 seasons. Coach McCutcheon just said it took time to transition to the level of play in the Big Ten. Here's Megan Haggerty, the sophomore for the Huskers.
Well, and that's all it really takes. As a middle attacker, you want to get yourself in position to hit a 1 ball. And then it's the setter's choice whether they set you or not. You need to be in the air with your arm back, and that tip that she drives to the center of the court works perfectly.
Not a great first touch from Minnesota. Paul Miller tries to go over on 2. Gophers waiting for it. Here's Robinson with the big swing. And a whistle on a net violation, I believe, against the Gophers.
So it's an interesting matchup. You've got one of the best outside hitters in the conference, if not the best, Kelsey Robinson for Nebraska, hitting over top of Alexandra Palmer, the shorter setter for Minnesota. We'll see if the setter for Nebraska can set the ball over top of Palmer so that Kelsey Robinson can take advantage of that short block.
When we talked with Hugh McCutcheon, he said in the first meeting that it wasn't just that they had the shorter block up there, but Kelsey Robinson was hitting all the angles, all the shots. She was so good that the block at 5'7" was tough with Palmer up there, but either way, she was getting her points. Dolly Santana with her serve, but it's long. Third in the Big Ten in service aces, but a service error here in the first set.
You know, that's one of the things Minnesota really needs, is for her to get in a bit of a groove on the service line and try and get quick points against Nebraska.
There's Robinson, who leads the Huskers in aces. She keeps hers in play. Whitman will put a roll shot over. Robinson out of the back row off the touch, and as you can see, gets it done all over the floor.
That's right, a nice controlled dig from Nebraska, set up perfectly for Kelsey. And again, the thing that she does so well is she knows when to slam the ball down, and she knows when to finesse a shot off the blocker's hands.
8-4 lead for the Cornhuskers early in set number 1 at the Sports Pavilion. Win on Friday night against Wisconsin. It was Minnesota beating Iowa here at the Sports Pavilion. So both of these teams trying to go 2-0 on the weekend in the second half of the Big Ten season. Robinson still serving for the Huskers. Chance for Whitman as Shaw is in to set now for the Gophers. Dixon looking for her first kill. Out of play on the attack error, and the point to the Gophers.
Yeah, we do want to mention the lineup change. Hugh McCutcheon decided to put in Katie Shaw as the setter. She's a freshman, 5'8", so not much taller than Alexandra Palmer. We'll see if that strategy works for him.
Shaw has been playing as of late, but in a limited role. Here's Katie Rolfson into the floor.
Well, when Rolfson sees a split in the block, she is going to terminate it straight down. As a hitter, you got to know when you can pound it down and when you can't. There's the seam, there's the attack.
Katie Rolfson is 7th in the Big Ten in kills per set this season, and the reigning Big Ten freshman of the week. Short serve from the Huskers. Dixon out of the back row. Here's Robinson, and another for Kelsey Robinson as she flies out the back.
You know, one of the big things for Minnesota isn't just the block, but the backcourt defense has got to get some of these balls up. They are hard-driven balls. You've got to get your platform, drive your arms under, and try to keep the ball in play.
Bump set from Shaw to Whitman, and Whitman gets the corner. Take a look at a few keys for the Cornhuskers on.
Well, taking a look at Nebraska's keys, we're talking Kelsey. Kelsey Robinson has got to have a big match, and she's already started off strong. The second key for Nebraska is to control Santana's serve. We saw Santana back on the line, making a self-imposed error, but she can get hot and score some points for Minnesota on that service line.
Kelsey Robinson with 4 early kills for Nebraska. difference from Friday night when she had a slow start, was not set as often, but tooling the block of the Huskers again. Mary Paul Miller will go back to serve for Nebraska. Miller and Robinson, the two transfers from Tennessee this year that have played vital roles for Nebraska. There's Whitman on the right side.
Yeah, Whitman on the right is a new little wrinkle that Minnesota has put into this offense. And again, it's not just for her attack, it's for blocking to help slow down Nebraska's left sides.
In the middle, Cecilia Hall did get that ball to touch the line. Nebraska continuing to build here in the first set, 12-7 advantage. Cornhuskers swept the first meeting in Lincoln. That was a tightly contested affair until the third set. Not an easy win by any means, according to John Cook. Here's Santana off the block.
Well, Santana getting a good kill, but also adding some energy to the court right now. It's Minnesota's chance to attack from the service line. They really need to put some pressure on Nebraska's passers. Right now in this first set, it's been all Nebraska's serving game that has helped get a lead.
And a great serve from the Gophers to put them back within 3. Lawmaster keeping the Husker serve receive off guard. Chance from Lawmaster, receiving air, and the ace for Minnesota.
Well, we talk about how important that is, and this is a huge deal for Lawmaster to go back there and serve aggressively. Easy points for Minnesota.
We'll take a look at the keys for Minnesota. And Audrey, what do you have for the Gophers?
Well, for the Gophers, they got to play good backcourt defense. The block needs to set up, but they're not going to touch all of Kelsey Robinson's hits. She's just too crafty. So the backcourt needs to be able to play the ball and then transition and score. They also need to take advantage of home court. This is a huge crowd that's here to back up the Gophers. They need to take advantage of playing at home.
Minnesota undefeated at home this season at 9-0. They were 15-1 a year ago and currently with the unblemished mark. For all the latest news, insight, and information on Big Ten Volleyball, follow BTN Volleyball on Twitter today, twitter.com/BTN Volleyball, and use the hashtag B1G Volleyball to tweet about this match and join the conversation about the Big Ten Conference, twitter.com/BTN Volleyball. Golden Gophers coming off that win on Friday against Iowa. Second half of the Big Ten season for both of these squads, and you get the sense that they have found their rhythm at this point in the year. Early on, the first meeting between the two of them, these are really different teams than the first time that they matched up.
That's right, and you know, we got to keep focusing on Hugh McCutcheon making some adjustments. So what you're seeing here, the matchups that you're seeing that Minnesota's throwing on the court are slightly different than the first time around. Hugh McCutcheon, one of the finest, smartest volleyball minds that we have here in the Big Ten Conference. He looked at film and he saw where adjustments can be made.
Minnesota hitting 417 so far in the first set. Nebraska hitting 500. Lawmaster with a couple of good serves here out of the timeout. Looking for the side out of the Huskers, and they get it from Kelsey Robinson. Robinson, the senior out of Bartlett, Illinois, two-time Big Ten Player of the Week, including this week. Palmer with the back set to Nora, and she gets it down.
You know, we talk about her being the X factor. So far here in this first set, she has been virtually unstoppable. She's got that cross-court shot. Nebraska's block there's a big seam between the left side blocker and middle blocker, and she's taking advantage of what she sees in front of her.
Haggerty with another chance, and so far we've seen a kill from Cecilia Hall, a couple from Haggerty, and Nebraska is focusing on the game plan of getting the ball to the middles.
Yeah, and that's all the rhythm between Paul Miller and her middles. And, you know, Paul Miller didn't have a great match setting her middles prior to this one, and Cook addressed that. If they can get their middles involved, watch out. This Nebraska team is solid.
The ace from Brenna Lyles as she comes off the bench. her 11th ace of the season, and Lyles played the libero spot last Saturday against Northwestern as she took over for Justine Wong-Arantes, but good job from the service line for Nebraska. Bump set from Shaw, goes to Santana, out of play, but the touch will be called and the point for the Gophers.
Let's take a look at this shot. A nice bump set. Just as a setter, when you're racing to that left side, the closer you are to your target, the higher the ball needs to be set. Bump set perfectly. Santana catches fingers.
Santana trying to get it done now from the service line. The mix-up on the change-up shot from Robinson, and that will fall, and Kelsey Robinson continues her strong start. 6 kills on 8 attacks for Kelsey Robinson, hitting over 700 and back serving again. Diving effort from Santana. Here's Whitman, and it's stuffed out of play, so the point to Minnesota.
Well, if you're Hugh McCutcheon, you gotta like the defensive effort that turns into a point. A diving dig, a nice set, and then the veteran player Whitman following through with the kill.
Paul Miller tries to go over on 2, but the block for Minnesota.
This is such a good first set of this very anticipated match. Minnesota was down, and then they're fighting their way back into this first set. Lots of good net play.
Shaw seeing a lot of time, goes to Santana out of the back row. Bump set from Paul Miller, free ball opportunity. But it will not be a good chance for the Gophers. Another chance for Katie Rolfson. And it's out of play. Nebraska can't believe it. But the point goes to the Gophers.
Yeah, they were fighting for that touch call. I love the expression on their faces when they think that they deserve a touch.
Talked to Kelsey Robinson this week, and she says that she hates losing any point. And you saw her out there trying to plead with the official to give that point to Nebraska, but it will be the Gophers and Tori Dixon to serve. Ball coming over from Carly Hauer. And on 2, Paul Miller finds the floor.
Well, I don't think we talk nearly enough about Mary Paul Miller, the setter for Nebraska. She has got great control and great vision. There you see a nice little touch shot. As her middle was going behind, the blockers slightly lean to their left, and she's able to attack and score.
Paul Miller leads the Big Ten in assists per set during the conference season. Here is Whitman looking for the touch. She does get that call, and it's a 1-point first set.
Whitman saying, let's go to her team. You know, when she played down at Nebraska, she did not have one of her best matches. I've seen this kid. She's got an arm of a killer, and they need that arm to come out tonight. Just
3 kills, hit -150 at Nebraska on October 4th for Whitman. Here's Palmer to serve. Lawmaster will set to Nora. Chance for Katie Rolfson, she terminates.
Boy, Katie just gets up. She has got a great vertical, and I like when I see her take that approach from way deep. Look at her come in, and that line shot nearly takes off Palmer's head in the backcourt.
Katie Rolfson, the number 5 recruit coming out of high school. Her sister Amber, the number 8 recruit. Bad first touch by the Gophers, but the save by Lawmaster, it will not get over the net. And the point to Nebraska.
Well, Nebraska's game plan seems to be to pick on Whitman and serve receive. It was a great get on that second contact, but nobody was following that second contact. You got to follow and believe that that person will get the ball up, and then you need to drive it over the net.
Couple receiving errors on Ashley Whitman, and Hannah Tapp in the middle for the Gophers.
Well, there you can see when a pass gets up to the setter, what Minnesota can do with the ball. A nice 31, that's a quick set that's pushed past the setter in that open 3 zone.
Paul Miller will go with the back set. It's Katie Rolfson on the right side this time.
So Santana sends over a down ball, a not very aggressive swing. What do we see happening? Nebraska taking control of the ball, setting a good transition set and scoring on that. So it's all about who will attack and terminate first. You cannot send roll shots over the net.
Palmer to Hannah, tap, and tap, getting it going in the first set for the middle for the Gophers.
Hannah Tap, unexpected to get that set. You would think your go-to hitter would be Santana on the left side, but Hannah Tap, just a freshman, able to get some big points there on the quick attack.
Hannah Tap out of Stewartville, Minnesota. Her twin sister Paige Tap on the team as well. Does not play as much as Hannah Tap. The attack air from the Huskers, and now back to a 1-point first set. But Hannah Tap coming off an effort on Friday night where she tied a career high with 8 kills on 9 attacks against Iowa and hit .778. Robinson is stuck.
That's a big block, a big momentum change for Minnesota. And here's the crowd. The crowd's getting into it. It's exactly what you want when you're playing at home.
In a race to 5 points. Here's Nora, the stuff for the Huskers.
Okay, so once you go to Nora a couple times, Nebraska understands, hey, this is a new go-to player. This is the X factor. We're going to be all over it. And that's exactly what the block for Nebraska does. They seal the net. They don't allow Nora to score.
Somehow the Huskers keep the ball off the floor, but another chance for Minnesota. The tip from Santana. We'll have a whistle. I believe they're going to replay that point.
Yeah, I think it was an early whistle. Not sure what the referee thought she saw, but she quickly put up 2 thumbs, and that means replay.
So 21-20. Last rally did not go for a point. Dixon looking for her first kill, but the block for Nebraska continues to come through.
Boy, and if you're Hugh McCutcheon, you do not like that replay because that was a down ball that Nebraska was sending over to Minnesota. So he calls a timeout, tries to rally his troops.
22-20 lead for Nebraska in the first set. It's time now for the State Farm State of Success, and this Minnesota team at home has been difficult to beat this year. They are undefeated at 9-0, but in the past 5 seasons, that has been the trend. 63-9 home record over the last 5 seasons. They have won 18 straight. Their last loss came to Penn State in the first half of the Big Ten season last year here at the Sports Pavilion, but since then, they have been absolutely excellent. 15-1 the record a year ago at home.
Yeah, this is a tough place to play, and you can see by the number of fans and how loud it is. You know, what you get on a roll if you're Minnesota, boy, you got the backing of a lot of people, and so momentum can stay on your side.
5,000 on hand. No surprise in this matchup, you're going to get a great crowd to see these two teams play. 3rd in overall attendance, and a huge lift to this Minnesota team. They've really drawn the attention of the community around here with their play, and especially Ashley Whitman and Tori Dixon. You can see that they're embraced by all the fans in Minnesota. Yeah,
those 2 All-Americans are loved by the people in Minnesota. They are great ambassadors of the sport. They really represent their program very well.
So David Dixon, Tori Dixon's dad, regular face around the Sports Pavilion. First played with Minnesota Vikings for years in the NFL. And a chance to watch his daughter play at the highest level of competition in collegiate volleyball here in the Big Ten Conference, and trying to see what they can do at the end of this first set. Palmer, back set to Nora. Robinson chases it down and sends it back over. As long as it stayed outside the antenna, she can do that. Nora with another chance, and then the whistle on the net violation against Nebraska.
How impressive is Adriana Nora tonight? Getting back-to-back sets, getting dug the first time, calling for the second set, and then just nailing the ball cross court. Telling you what, Mary Paul Miller, the setter for Nebraska, the shots are coming her way.
Miller goes to Robinson to the back corner.
You know, you just can't say enough about Kelsey Robinson. She has just got that special ability to take over a match. She has really, you know, carried this team on her shoulders. She gets the numbers, both in attacking and defense, that really separate her from everybody else in the conference.
2011 SEC Player of the Year, trying to be the Big Ten Player of the Year. Tip almost falls. Another chance for Robinson, but it's out of play. These two teams in the 5th set last year here in the Sports Pavilion played a 21-19 5th set. So they know about going to extra points, and could happen here in the 1st.
Yeah, and this is what Big Ten volleyball is all about. These two teams very evenly matched. Their strengths are very solid at the net. Great defensive play, two fantastic setters, offensive huge players. So, you know, it doesn't get much better than Nebraska, Minnesota.
Another service error by Dolly Santana gives the Huskers set point, and Robinson will try to end it from the back line. Shaw with the back set to Dixon. Coverage from Wong-Arantes. And off the block and out of play, the kill for the Huskers, and they take the 1st set 25-22.
An outstanding dig by the libero for Nebraska, keeping the ball in play. It's a great move by Justine Wong-Arantes in the backcourt.
5 kills for Katie Rolfson in the 1st, and that does it as Nebraska goes up 1-0 on top of Minnesota. So they're going to need to keep their level of play, sustain it throughout the entire match. That was a great 1st set from these two teams. Both hit over 300. Palmer to start the 2nd set. Overpass created, comes down on Minnesota's side. Free ball opportunity for the Huskers. Again, Katie Rolfson to the corner.
Katie Rolfson doing a good job of hitting the back third of the court. Nice explosive attack. Take a look at that jump set, and there you see the gap between the blockers. And the thing that I like about Rolfson is she doesn't go for that straight down shot, she goes for the deep one.
Bump set from Wong-Arantes to Katie Rolfson. A whistle on a net violation against Minnesota. Nora on the left side this time. The tip goes off the block and out of play.
Little roll shot into the block, pushing the ball in and out. Works for her. It seems like she can do no wrong right now. She's on a roll. What you see her doing right now is calling out her blockers and telling her team how she's going to block against them.
Cecilia Hall off the block for Nebraska, and we have not mentioned Tori Dixon's name much so far in this match. No kills for her on 5 swings, so whatever Nebraska's doing, they're finding a way to slow down Tori Dixon.
Well, I think what they're doing is Cecilia Hall is a great blocker, and you never want to run your offense right in the middle of the best blocker. So, you know, toe-to-toe, it'll be interesting to see if Dixon elevates her level of play. Again, if Minnesota can pass well enough to get the ball to her. But you got one heck of a good blocker on the other side of the net in Cecilia Hall.
Tori Dixon checking back into the match. 3-2 lead for Nebraska. Santana blocked there for the Huskers, but it goes out of play. A little too aggressive possibly by Nebraska.
Yeah, and it was a good move by Santana. Whenever the ball is set tight, you got to get your feet to the ball, you have to jump straight up, and then you've got to push the ball into the block and wipe it off. So she makes it look easy. It's a real tough move to make.
To Nora, cross court, no one home for the Huskers.
Well, Nebraska's backcourt defense is talking to the front row block. We need to do something different. She's got a cross-court shot, and you can see that they're taking away line. Despite that, you've got to be stopped down low and ready at the point of attack to be able to play balls in the backcourt.
There's Robinson, and Santana can't dig the ball up. Point to Nebraska. That 4-3 lead now tied at 4-4. That was the first lead of the match for Minnesota. Now tied up again.
Yeah, Robinson doing a good job of a cross-court shot with a lot of top spin in it, catching Santana off guard. Gets a point for her team.
Santana with a big swing, but a great up by Justine Wong-Arantes. Back set from Palmer to Nora, and again, Nora effective.
Well, right now, Nebraska's block is getting caught up with Dixon, and like you mentioned earlier, she's really not getting a lot of sets. So the strategy is to set the pins. Dixon's the big name. Everybody's anticipating the ball's going to go to her. So good job by the setter, Alexandra Palmer from Minnesota, to set the pins right now.
Tip from Haggerty. We've seen that work for her a couple of times this afternoon. Is Haggerty not taking a full swing, but still getting the ball on the floor.
Haggerty's a great athlete, and what she does, I think, exceptionally well is run the slide. So we really haven't seen that from her very often, but she is in the front row with the setter, Mary Polmiller, for Nebraska, so we'll see if that play gets run a little bit more here in the second set.
Setting again over to Santana, and she tries to fire up her teammates.
She's got a lot of spirit. Take a look at this attack. Ball gets played up perfectly. A nice set to the outside. You can see Nebraska's block is late. And there you see the fist pump from Santana, getting her team all charged up.
Overpass created, and the point to the Gophers.
You can see John Cook a little concerned here with his serve-receive game right now. The ball cannot be overpassed. Those are quick points for your opponent. So if the ball's coming at you fast, as a passer, you want to absorb the ball a little bit, bring your arms into your body as opposed to pushing toward the target.
There's Whitman. Miller back over to Kelsey Robinson, who tools the block.
Kelsey Robinson does such a good job with her arm swing as she is going up to approach. Big back arm draw coming up front with both arms, so she takes advantage of that big approach that she has.
And Whitman puts it between the blockers and down.
Yeah, Nebraska's block right now, you know, we used to call it a Swiss cheese block. There's lots of holes in it. Let's take a look at it right now. There's a big, huge gap, and that's when a left side hitter should hit the ball straight down, as Whitman does with that swing.
Katie Rolfson once more, and not much of an answer for the Gophers for Katie Rolfson or Kelsey Robinson.
Yeah, when an outside hitter can take swings and hit the blocker's hands and out of bounds, boy, those are tough balls to dig. So point goes easily to Nebraska. Now, can they block and dig and get another point?
There's the block for the Huskers, and they execute the way you were expecting on.
Yeah, much better block. And that's Cecilia Hall in there, who's got nice, quick lateral movement. Let's take a look at her footwork. The ball gets pushed to the outside. She gets there, and she reaches. You know, when you got a great vertical like Cecilia Hall, it makes blocking a lot easier. So good job for her to get outside and close.
It's in for Ashley Whitman, goes for the Gophers, back on top 9-8. You talk about Cecilia Hall. In her last 3 matches, 29 blocks, averaging 2.4 blocks per set. That includes 11 blocks against Illinois, 10 blocks against Northwestern. She had another 8 on Friday night against Wisconsin.
Yeah, and when you do that, you're going to be the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week, and that's exactly what she was last week.
John Cook has said that she has the potential to be one of the best blockers in the Big Ten, currently 3rd in the conference. Nora off the block and down.
Anytime the ball gets pumped to her, she is playing with a ton of confidence. Take a look at this. Good timing, a lower set to the outside. You can see that she takes advantage of the left side blocker's left hand as there's space between that hand and the pin.
No pancake there for Palmer as the tip goes for Katie Rolfson. And Audrey, as we talked about so much coming from the left side, should Minnesota maybe cheat over there a little bit and expect it from the left?
Well, absolutely, and you know, that's just anticipating where the ball's going to go. So yeah, you can cheat, especially if the ball is not past the 10-foot line. You know the ball's going to go to the left side.
This time the right side, not an attack, just bumped over. Good up by Walleratos. Rolfson with the swing. Robinson out of the back row. Palmer is there for Minnesota. Santana goes after Robinson. Long rally continues. Ends on the air, though. The point to Minnesota.
And I always love to see how these long rallies end. And you hate for it to end with a hitting error. You want to make sure as a left side you understand it is your responsibility to terminate. You could not make an error. That could have been a momentum changer for Nebraska.
Tip coming over, Lawmaster. Dives for it and able to get the kill was Dolly Santana.
Well, defense changes attitudes on the court. You're seeing a lot of hustle right now from Minnesota. Great defensive gets, and they're just playing the ball out. They're not giving up on any ball.
Biggest lead for Minnesota as they're up 12-9 in the second set at home, trying to even up this match at one set apiece. Back inside the Sports Pavilion in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where the Gophers, Hugh McCutcheon's squad on top 12-9 in the second set. Minnesota fell in the first set 25-22 as Nebraska leads the match. But right now, Minnesota out-hitting the Cornhuskers, hitting 400 to 340 for Nebraska.
Yeah, you've got Whitman with 7 kills, Nora with 8 kills. The offensive load for Minnesota is dispersed, and that's what we didn't see the first time around. Nora really coming on strong, doing a good job of taking the right side attacks and scoring for her team.
Huge stuff for the Gophers. Here's Cecilia Hall out of play, did not touch anything. 14-9 advantage now for Minnesota. Has said that he wanted to see Cecilia Hall hit the ball harder when she's going up on those attacks because she's been great defensively. They want more offense out of it. Morgan Brookheis into the match for the Cornhuskers, and she gets the kill.
Well, what a great job for Morgan to step in and contribute a positive point for her team. She hasn't had a lot of playing time, so nice job to get in there and get a kill.
Brookheis, a 3-year starter, but just her 14th match this season, has had to fight for playing time and not been able to get out there for Nebraska. Here's Nora again to the corner.
Well, you know, Nebraska really hasn't had an answer for Nora right now. I think what they need to do is take her cross-court shot away and see if she can hit a line shot. She's hit cross-court, you know, a couple times, has scored repeatedly with that shot. So change up what you're showing her and see if she can make a good line shot and score.
Service error for Minnesota. Nora, the last time these two teams played, had 6 kills on 6 attacks against Nebraska. Keeping up with another strong performance. We mentioned what she's been able to do. You gave her numbers just a moment ago, but hitting 500 is Adriana Nora. Here's Santana into the floor.
Well, even with Morgan Brookheis in there, that block has not been able to stop Minnesota's left side. You know, Brookheis is 6'5", but again, you've got to line up with your hitter's approach. As a blocker, you want to watch the ball into the setter's hands. As soon as the ball is released, get your eye on the hitter. They will line up where the ball ends up, and that means you will line up with their hitting arm.
Almost another stuff for Minnesota, but they'll get the free ball. Shaw to Santana, the tip. Walleratos gets there, and Robinson in transition.
That was a great defensive get in the backcourt for Nebraska, keeping the ball alive. Boy, that shows just how much guts this Nebraska team has. Every point is important, and they hustled, were able to play up that ball, and then Robo there with the kill.
Double-figure kills now for Kelsey Robinson. Her 20th match this year where she's gone to 10 kills or more. Nebraska needs her to keep it going down the stretch of the second set. Tori Dixon with the swing. Paul Miller with the dump over.
Well, Paul Miller draws Haggerty with the slide. So you've got two people to go to on the slide and outside, and that opens up the court for you as a setter to attack.
Back to Santana, and she does get the touch as that goes off a Husker.
Well, what a nice job Katie Shaw is doing for Minnesota right now, setting up her hitters. The ball is set low to the pin. She's got good range. She can set either pin. She's doing a good job of being a leader out there, setting one heck of an offense for Minnesota right now.
7 kills now for Santana. Back to serve. So block waiting on Robinson. Triple block is there, but she goes off the tape and down.
Yeah, that's just sheer will. You've got 3 blockers in front of you. You go up strong, you score. That's just will, determination, guts. That's what I love about this kid. She's got it all.
Brings an intensity to the floor. Service error, and Minnesota 7 points from taking the second set. Kelsey Robinson has had to be a leader. You see that she is a captain, has the C on her jersey. Despite not being with the program before this year, she had to step into that role. Leader for the Gophers, and Tori Dixon, she gets the ace.
Well, Dixon gets the ace. Haggerty, was there and then just kind of slid out of the way at the last minute. So a little confusion there in the serve-receive game by Nebraska.
Out of play, the air on Nebraska, and Minnesota to be on their way to a second set win, their biggest lead here at 6.
I think John Cook is saying, watch the net. I think he thinks the Minnesota block was in the net. This is a great challenge for Nebraska. They're down by a few. Can they come back and compete hard? Whether they win this set or not, can they come back and fight?
We'll see if Nebraska has the fight when we return. Minnesota on top 20-14 in the second set.
And it's at Nebraska, so tough 4 matches ahead of Penn State.
Katie Rolfson blocked there for the Gophers. A little confusion by Nebraska, but they send it over. Shaw to Whitman. Up from Robinson in the back row. Down the line by Katie Rolfson, but it's out of play.
So out of the timeout, Nebraska would have liked to have played a little bit better. They wanted a crisp side out, did not get it. Again, I think what John Cook would like to see in the second set is his team competing. Doesn't matter if you win the second set, but you want to go into the locker room with a little bit more fight than what we're seeing right now.
5 attack errors on the Huskers in this set. Now hitting under 300 for the match. Lyles receives that serve. And the point goes to the Gophers as that ball did not clear the net. Kelsey Feen into the net for Nebraska.
So when Cook starts yanking his starters and putting the bench in, he's trying to make a point. He wants his team to see exactly what it looks like from his perspective. And he wants them to get the feel that, hey, we need to fight hard for this one. And a little bit of bench time might just change their attitudes.
Whitman off the block and out of play, and Minnesota 2 points from taking the set. You think back to that match for John Cook and his team against Penn State in Lincoln last year at the end of October. He took out his entire starting lineup and put them all on the bench, and then they went on to win it in 5 sets.
Yeah, it was a gutsy move by Cook, but he will do that those sorts of things, and I really do respect him for that because it does drive a point to his team that, hey, if you're not going to compete and play hard, you can sit right next to me on the bench.
And tap. The up from Wong-Arantes. Here's Feen. Off the block and down. Kelly Hunter, freshman setter out of Papillion, Nebraska. The setter for the Rolfson twins in high school. She'll check in to serve. On the tip. Good contribution in this match from Hannah Tapp for Minnesota.
Perfect pass, allows the setter to set whomever she wants. Tapp is there with a good little touch shot that scores one for her team. she's all smiles right now. Now her job is to block a ball.
Set point for Minnesota. Maybe Palmer. Cecilia Hall behind the setter. Santana on the coverage. Here's Nora, and she ends the second set. A dominant effort by the Gophers to tie up the match.
Well, Palmer doing a good job of setting Nora up exactly the way she needs to be set up. Nora taking big swings here in the first 2 sets.
A one-sided second set in favor of the Gophers, and we're tied at 1 apiece as we head to the intermission. Adriana Nora, double-figure kills. She has Minnesota tied with Nebraska. Struggled in Big Ten play. You see them towards the bottom of the standings, but still an overall winning record. If they can go on a run, they could make the NCAA tournament. And Illinois, 8-6 now in Big Ten play. They have to keep the overall record, though, above 500. If they do not, they will not be eligible no matter their Big Ten record.
That's right. And another team that could make the tournament is Northwestern. You know, they have been fighting hard in the conference, so good luck to Northwestern in hopes of making the tournament bid.
And when I say 500, I mean at 500 or above to be eligible for the NCAA tournament. That is the minimum. As we take a look at the RPI in the Big Ten Conference, a number of these teams ranked high. Nebraska and Minnesota in the top 10, and you see all the other Big Ten teams. Potential maybe 9 conference teams could make the NCAA tournament. Might be a stretch, but 8 teams could go again. 6 teams made it to the regionals last year in the NCAA tournament for the Big Ten.
Yeah, it's unbelievable when you think of that many teams in the conference making it to the tournament. You know, we talk about it all the time when we do these broadcasts, but this is a totally tough conference, and I don't think that there's another conference out there that can say that they are as strong as the Big Ten. 7
teams ranked in the top 25 for the Big Ten Conference, the most of any conference nationally. Earlier, there were 9 teams this year ranked, and that was a new record for any conference in collegiate women's volleyball. And these 2 teams, they hope to make deep runs in the NCAA tournament. They feel that they have the talent to be able to do that. Experience on the Minnesota side, young talent for Nebraska. We're going to see how this 3rd set plays out, but Minnesota has kept their level of play the same in the 1st and 2nd set. It's Nebraska. We'll see if they can answer here in the 3rd.
Yeah, and you know, it's something that you see with young teams. They got a lot of freshmen on the court. You're going to see that up and down play, but you know, you got to compete for all the sets and play it out. We'll see how they come out here in the 3rd.
Right away, the Gophers go to Nora. Katie Rolfson terminates for the Huskers.
All right, what you see is the libero on Nebraska's side of the net making the dig on a very tough shot. You don't see the same type of play in the backcourt for Minnesota, and that's the difference. Can you dig these hard-driven shots?
Service error on Nebraska. Some mistakes on both sides of the net. Just the 3rd service error, though, for the Cornhuskers in the match. We lawmaster for Minnesota. Over on 2 by Paul Miller. There's Whitman with the swing, but it's into the net.
In the passing game for Nebraska, that ball was passed tight. They were lucky to get that point. You want to keep the setter nice and tight to the net so that she can run a quick offense, but you certainly don't want to overpass the ball.
Alexa Etheridge into serve, another freshman on this Nebraska team. Palmer to Santana down the line, but it's out of play.
And you can see the right back player for Nebraska had her right foot on the line. So anything that goes outside of her body, she knew was out of bounds. So good defensive positioning by the line digger for Nebraska.
Santana on the tip. Etheridge there. Robinson can't get this ball over the net.
Robinson had to kind of delay her attack a little bit. There was a lot of traffic right in her approach pattern, and so she kind of thought she was going to step on someone. So she, you know, took a little bit off and wasn't in great rhythm on that back row attack.
Katie Rolfson with a big swing, and it flies off Lindsay Lawmaster.
Well, Minnesota was jumping with Paul Miller. You're going to see this. They jumped. They're slow getting to the outside. That sticks in number 6, leaving a big gap there for Nebraska to hit at.
11 kills now for Katie Rolfson, hitting .421 as Paul Miller is back to serve. Shaw, Santana, off the block and down.
Boy, as a blocker, you know, you certainly want to stuff block the ball, but what you also want to do is get positive touches. That's a good touch. You got to be able to land, find the ball, and play it. So both of the blockers for Nebraska not able to track where that ball went, really should have been played up and transitioned.
Just clipping the net. Well, Santana's serve, but the side out, Amber Rolfson on the left side.
Good job by Amber there to swing and hit line. And both of those girls, they get up so quickly and their arm swing is so fast. Very impressive freshmen.
The ace from Katie Rolfson. So the Rolfsons coming through in the last few points. Twins who committed at 14 years old to Nebraska. Top 10 recruits, as we mentioned. And Katie Rolfson a little bit more production this year, but Amber Rolfson just as much talent. Just learning a new position on the right side, according to John Cook. Here's Dixon, her first kill of the match.
All right, so can Dixon come alive? Because now if they get Dixon in the mix, boy, Minnesota will be unstoppable. Look at this slide. She's up very quickly. There is no block there, just one block actually for Nebraska. And so that's going to be a wide open shot for Dixon.
Dixon averages 3.8 kills per set. Here's Robinson. She gets it down in front of Santana.
A serious cross-court shot, hits very close to the 10-foot line. When her hand makes contact with the ball, she drops her thumb. Again, she hits the way she approaches, so you just have to follow it. I make it sound easy, but you follow her approach and at least you're going to put up a solid block against her.
Great approach from Katie Shaw. She saw the opening, went over on two. Freshman out of Richland, Michigan, playing the center position for the Gophers. Shaw seeing more time in this match and getting a few words with the head coach, Hugh McCutcheon. 9th match of the year for Katie Shaw. Tough serve. Palmer goes down and bumps that set over. Lawmaster will set to Whitman, and she's stuffed Rolfson with the block for Nebraska.
Well, that's a tough angle for Ashley Whitman. And in that particular situation, you want to just put the ball in play with a roll shot. The problem is she roll shotted it right into Nebraska's block. And that is a pretty big block. So you got to go up and over and then just trust that your teammates will help you block and dig for the point.
Rolfson at 6'3". Here's Nora with another termination for the Gophers.
Junior again at 6'3", swinging from the left side. So we're seeing a lot of different swinging patterns from Minnesota than we saw the previous time. Hugh McCutcheon making some good adjustments to get his team in a position to win tonight.
Robinson at the 10-foot line, touches a couple of Gophers and goes out of play. 9-6 lead for the Huskers in the third set.
That's what Robinson does. She knows when to pound it. She knows when to hit the ball deep off the blocker's hands. Again, we should talk about her defensive moves as well, because look at that. She can get balls up and keep the ball in play for her team.
Palmer back set to Nora down the line. Adriana Nora, such a different player than early in the season.
Well, and there's talent, because I said before, blocker cross court. Well, she's showing that she can hit the line shot if the line shot's available. So that is talent, and it's hard to stop a player like her.
She'll have another year of eligibility next season for the Gophers. Haggerty goes off the block for Nebraska.
I think Haggerty could be a real offensive threat. She doesn't get a lot of sets. I'm not quite sure if the rhythm isn't there between her and Paul Miller, but last year, boy, that slide attack was money. Every time Haggerty got her hand on the ball, she would just slam it down. So right now, she needs to get involved in the offense, but Paul Miller has to have the confidence to set her.
Tip this time from Nora. All the different shots from Adriana Nora.
So just when the defense is back on their heels, you mix in a little roll shot. And of course, the hole is going to be nice and big for her to tip into a veteran play.
Hugh McCutcheon has said that she hits a heavy ball, but she can also tip that ball and get it for a point. She now serves. Santana got a hand on it, but it will go out of play. Another kill for Katie Rolfson.
John Cook has got to like the competitiveness of his team. They're not playing perfectly, but they're certainly competing better than they did in that second set. They're serving more aggressively. You see him calling for zone 1 on the serve. That's the right back corner of the court.
Morgan Bowl there to receive it. Here's Dixon with another slide play.
They didn't set Dixon much in the first 2 sets. Now they are. So as the blocker, you kind of think, okay, what did they do in this last rotation? Well, they didn't set Dixon. So they're playing cat and mouse right now. Minnesota's setters are with the Nebraska blocking team.
Good job by Wong Arantes to receive that serve. And the first ball side out for Nebraska.
Yeah, that was one of the keys. Don't let Santana get on a roll from the end line. And that's exactly what Nebraska did. They controlled the pass, got a quick side out. Now she's rotated on. She won't be serving for another 5 rotations.
And a receiving error this time on the Gophers. Miscommunication between Santana and Morgan Bowl. 4-point lead for Nebraska, as they're on top in the 3rd set, 13-9, trying to go up 2-1 on the road. John Cook, he mentioned that they wanted to make sure they were ready for Nora, but as you said, I don't think he was expected for this kind of effort from Adriana Nora, currently not on the floor, but she'll be back in there momentarily. Shaw will set to Whitman. Another chance for Ashley Whitman, the senior, on the left side. Bump set comes to her again. Long bump set over to Robinson. Dixon behind Shaw, off the block and out of play.
Yeah, Dixon will get it done. Lots of balls going to the outside to Whitman. And then finally, the terminating kill comes from the All-American Tori Dixon.
Tori Dixon will head back to serve. Robinson has to adjust. And Whitman gets the ball to the floor. The assist to Hannah Tapp.
Yeah, right in that right back corner. Just a well-placed roll shot. Take a look at how she swings deep in the corner. Obviously, Nebraska thought that ball was going long.
Good job by the freshman middle, Hannah Tapp, to set the ball to Whitman. Robinson tools off the hands.
And just when you need an aggressive swing, there comes Kelsey Robinson on the left side for Nebraska, taking control of this, getting a big point for her team.
Dixon could not put a true swing on that ball. Here's Robinson into the floor.
You know, the game of volleyball, who can terminate first? You saw a roll shot from Minnesota's side of the net, and here you see this big-time swing from Kelsey Robinson on the left side, and she is mad. She fist pumps and says, let's go.
There's a senior going against 2 freshmen on the block, but Amber Rolfson steps up on the block this time for Nebraska.
Yeah, that's a better-looking block on that right side for Nebraska. The block was closed, reaching back to the middle of the court.
Dixon out of the back row. Up, Katie Rolfson. Kelsey Robinson keeps it in play. And Hannah Tapp in the middle off the block and down.
Boy, the block was there in front of her, but it looked like Nebraska's block was on its way down as she swung through the ball, and so she gets a big point for her team.
Update on the blocking numbers. 5 team blocks for Nebraska. 3.5 for the Gophers. So advantage to the Huskers at the moment. Whitman down the line.
at Whitman. I feel like when she gets a big approach, when she approaches from 12, 13 feet, that's when we see her best arm swings. So she did that nice deep approach, got a good vertical jump on it, and swung hard.
Robinson, but a huge stuff tap and Nora combined for the Gophers.
But I guarantee you, Kelsey Robinson is not afraid to swing again. That was a huge block for Minnesota, a momentum changer, but Kelsey Robinson is used to those blocks. She's going to want the ball again. She wants to swing hard and get another point.
Gophers on a run, down by just 2 in the third set, 16-14 lead for Nebraska. Third overall in attendance this season, and you see today 5,210 fans. Nebraska, though, with 8,000 night in, night out in the Devaney Center. Golden Gophers, though, with a strong showing this afternoon in this key matchup for both of these teams. The ace for the Gophers as Nebraska let it go, and it catches the line for Palmer.
Well, Palmer has got that deep, flat serve, looking good right now. On serve receive, you want to call it right out of the server's hands.
Paul Miller with the back set. Amber Rolfson with the kill.
When the pass is there, there's a lot of things that Mary Paul-Miller can do with the ball. She sets it well to the outside. That one was brought in. The serving target right now for Minnesota, they are going after the libero for Nebraska right now, serving her short and deep, making her move a lot to pass.
Tapp had to adjust in the air, but still able to get the ball down.
Backcourt defense is so important. It's not a hard hit, it's a tip shot. Little bit of miscommunication there. You see parallel lines, somebody going for the ball short, someone getting it deep, but you gotta get your hand on the ball and play it.
Haggerty tools the block for the Huskers.
There's that slide approach that I really like from Haggerty. She's got the speed, she's got a good arm swing, and I think if they get the ball to her a little bit more often, it'll open up things for the left side attack.
Play on the service air, 1-point third set. John Cook, some of these points that Nebraska has given away throughout this match, haunting them here as they are up by just 1.
Yeah, he talked about how Minnesota doesn't make a lot of errors, and so his team can't afford to make unforced errors, and we're seeing quite a few errors from the Nebraska team right now.
Mary Paul Miller didn't even have anyone meet her on the joust as she put that ball down. We talked about the role that Paul Miller has played. You wonder where this Nebraska team would be with all newcomers without Mary Paul Miller stepping in.
Yeah, she's an experienced setter. She runs a good offense. She's a steady player. Right now doing a good job for her team.
Nora down the line.
Now, the thing that is really striking me right now is Nebraska can't even get a touch on her balls, not from the front court or the back court. It seems like anything Adriana Nora touches right now is going straight down.
So is the message from Hugh McCutcheon, just keep on setting her the ball?
Hey, you always pump your best hitter. Unfortunately, she's in the back court right now.
Pass, opportunity for the Huskers. They go back to Katie Rolfson. Second chance is down.
Now, Katie Rolfson finding a lot of success swinging in that left back deep corner. A good solid block up against her, but that's what talent looks like right there. You got a block up in front and you're able to score, finding an open shot. Again, that left back corner for her, she hits high with a lot of topspin, so it lands in court.
Morgan Bowl, who will set to Dolly Santana. Gophers looking for the touch call, they get it, and Kelsey Robinson can't believe it. The senior captain will talk to the up official.
Yeah, she won't just talk, she's gonna give him an earful. Let's take a look if we can see a touch. It does look like the ball hit Cecilia Hall's hand.
And now Dolly Santana rotating back to serve. Overpass created. Whitman puts it away, but that comes from the serve of Dolly Santana.
Absolutely, that was a free ball that Nebraska sent over the net. A nice in-system set to the outside, it's low. Whitman had time to lengthen that approach that we talked about, so now it's a race to 5 points.
Saw the exact same thing in set number 1, and it was Nebraska who took the first set 25-22. That time, though, long, missing the line was Santana on the serve, and Nebraska 4 points from taking the third set.
But I love that camera angle because you can see what the passers see, and that is a bomb coming your way, a top spin bomb. So Santana, even though that ball went long, boy, it comes at you with a lot of velocity.
Santana had 7 aces earlier this year against Michigan State in a home match. Here's Katie Rolfson to serve. A good first contact. Swing from Whitman. Now on the right and blocked.
Wow, Whitman played that ball. She transitioned to the right side, which is a little different. And if she would have gotten this kill, that would have been a spectacular 2 contacts for her. Unfortunately, she hits the ball low right into the belly of the block.
And Nebraska up 22-20 in the third set, trying to go up 2-1 in the match. We take a look at the scores from around the Big Ten Conference. 3 matches this afternoon. 3 matches including the match today that we're seeing between Nebraska and Minnesota. And the matches earlier with Michigan and Northwestern, it was a 4-set win for the Wolverines on the road, and then Wisconsin in straight sets bouncing back after losing to Nebraska on Friday.
Yeah, Wisconsin is one of those teams, I give them so much credit. They were injured, the players were injured early on in the season. Sheffield doing a great job of managing all that. And then, of course, one of my favorite players to watch, their setter, Lauren Carlini, a standout for Wisconsin.
20 kills for Molly Toon of Michigan, and then the Badgers hit 367. Lauren Carlini running the show. Nebraska up with a 2-point lead. We talked about how would this team come out in the third set after not playing their best volleyball in the second. Well, Nebraska hit 212 in the second set, hitting 414 with just 2 attack errors in the third.
Well, and you know, if you're John Cook, you got to be happy that your team rebounded after that poor second set. They're in position to win, but hey, Minnesota is in it to win it as well. Just a couple points behind. We'll see how they come out after this timeout.
Gophers as a team hitting 391. Nebraska hitting 306. Minnesota out of the timeout. See what they can do to answer the small run by Nebraska that has given them a chance to win this third set. Katie Rolfson to serve for the Huskers. Gophers go to Dixon. It's punched over by Amber Rolfson. Back to Tori Dixon. She tools off the block.
Well, I sort of feel like it was a strategic thing. Keep Tori Dixon quiet at the beginning of this match and now pump her the ball, because the ball has been in her hands a lot. Little unexpected start strategy perhaps for Minnesota, or maybe it was just that they weren't setting her enough, and now Hugh McCutcheon says, hey, let's get the ball into our best hitter's hands.
She only had really about 5 attempts through 2 sets, but up that to 18 now. Here's Robinson, a huge kill for the Huskers.
And Robinson is still in the front court. She just rotated to middle front, so she's up there. That's exactly who you want in the front court, your key hitter. That strong shot by Robinson.
All-American level of play on both sides of the net this afternoon. Short serve from Justine Wong-Arantes. Back set to Dixon at the 10-foot line. Good up by Dixon on the attack from Robinson. Here's Whitman rolling it over. Another chance for Ashley Whitman. Tips it at the net, and it will go for the Gophers.
Yeah, double contact on Haggerty's, I don't know what you would call it. She kind of just stuck her elbow out there. She was trying to do whatever she could to keep the ball off the ground.
It'll be Palmer to serve. She had an ace earlier in this set. Gophers down by 1. Amber Rolfson, and a huge block for the Gophers, tying up the third set.
A nice fight here by Minnesota. They were down by a few. Now they tied it up here in the third. Race 2 points. Let's see what happened here in the last play. Ball hit right into Whitman's hands. Whitman celebrates. She's doing a good job there of sealing the net.
Gopher faithful showing their appreciation, and tied here at 23 in the third set. Ashley Whitman coming through with the block for the Golden Gophers, and talking to her, she's very proud of her effort defensively this season, or past 2 seasons, ever since Hugh McCutcheon joined the program. She's been much better defensively, digging the ball, but also in terms of her blocks. She leads this Minnesota team in digs this year, and also in the top 4 for the Minnesota Golden Gophers in blocks. So she's done a really nice job rounding out her entire game.
Yeah, she has evolved as a player. She has started as a freshman, got better and better every year. Now definitely the go-to on the left side. She is an All-American, so her team relies on her a lot to get those crucial kills. But as you say, you know, her backcourt play has gotten better. Serve receive, she wants to take up space in the backcourt and try and pass as many balls as she can. So she's having a good night tonight.
12 kills, 4 digs. She has 10 double-doubles this season, does Ashley Whitman. And the Gophers are ready to get back out on the floor. They don't want to waste any time. Nebraska's still talking things over as Minnesota has the momentum at the moment, but we have seen it shift back and forth throughout this entire afternoon.
Right, and when a team has momentum, you do exactly what Cook did. You call a timeout and you extend that timeout, use every second you can, break that momentum that Minnesota has. Sometimes
you don't come back from intermission, as we saw by Illinois against Michigan on Wednesday night. That changed the tide for them. Master with the bump set to Whitman. Long approach, but the stuff for Nebraska.
Now that was a key block for Nebraska. Ball goes out to Whitman. The block is there. Watch that swing block, hip to hip. That was Haggerty reaching over, and that ball just landed in. So that was a lucky block.
Set point, Cornhuskers. Nora on the left with the tip, and we're going to extra points in the third.
Yeah, she's having one of those nights where she is feeling it. This ball gets set to her on the left side. She sees that the backcourt defense is way deep on her, and she puts in a perfectly placed tip to score.
Huskers look to Robinson. Gophers with the block.
And it's Nora there on the right side, sealing, setting up a good block, then sealing it. Kelsey Robinson, that's a huge block to hit around. Nicely done by Minnesota.
First lead of the third set for the Golden Gophers. They have set point. Paul Miller to Haggerty. Bump set to Santana. And Rolfson saves it, but free ball coming over for Minnesota. Can they end the third? To Nora, she tips. Paul Miller to Robinson. And that ball out of play. Nebraska still in the third set.
Look at the dig that keeps the ball alive right here. Big swing by Santana. Wow. And then the get. You just have to put the ball up and trust a teammate that they're going to get that second contact to help you out.
Robinson with the dig off Santana. Palmer will chase this ball down. Chance for the Huskers, and Haggerty goes and pushes the ball to the corner.
What a tricky play by Megan Haggerty. Instead of playing the ball up and having her setter set it up, she just dumps it in the open corner. Real smart play by number 20 for Nebraska.
Another set point for Nebraska. Nora is stumped, and the Cornhuskers take the third.
Well, it's unfortunate for Adriana Nora that the only time she gets blocked is to end this set. She's had a spectacular first 3 sets, but it was all Nebraska's block there to end the third.
Those who travel from Lincoln like what they see in the third set, as Katie Rolfson with the block for Nebraska, and they're up 2-1 on the road. Extra points in the third set goes to Nebraska. 27-25 win for the Cornhuskers, and they lead it 2-1 on the road against Minnesota. Down the stretch of the third set, a couple of key plays for Nebraska.
Yeah, key dig there, keeping the ball alive. Then Haggerty with a heads-up play there, putting the ball in the open court. And then a much-needed block against Nora finishes out that set for Nebraska.
First block of the match for Katie Rolfson, and at a crucial time, finishing off the third set. And we'll see what Minnesota can do to regroup here in the fourth. Played so well in that third set, and overall still hitting well above 300. Right now the numbers are in favor of Minnesota in terms of the stats. However, the score in each of the sets, it's in favor of Nebraska.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing because most of the time the stats are exactly, they indicate who won. But right now, it's so close that Nebraska's winning some of these smaller points, like that Haggerty push to the right back corner. So it's these little points that make a difference when you're so closely matched with your opponent.
Nebraska 2 losses in Big Ten play, currently in second place in the Big Ten Conference. Minnesota with 3 losses in third. Gophers and the Huskers both know that if they want to have a chance to go after a Big Ten title, as they both will face Penn State one more time this season, they have to have this match first. So could we be going 5 sets again in Minneapolis between these two, or will Nebraska close it out in the fourth? Palmer with the serve to start, and a joust at the net. Down on Nebraska's side, swing from Robinson. Whitman off the block and down.
It was Palmer that set the ball. Ball was dug to the 10-foot line, so it was clear that it was going to go out to the pin. Again, it's when Whitman has that long approach that she's able to find success.
Haggerty down the line, but it hit the antenna. Point to the Gophers.
I feel like Haggerty's got some good feet, and she can get to that ball quick. So if you're Paul Miller, you want to set the ball a little faster to her, force her to use her speed to get to that ball on the slide attack.
And a block coming through for Minnesota on Katie Rolfson.
Boy, it's so funny how this match has been, one side plays well, then another side plays well. Here in this set, it's all Minnesota.
Start, another tough serve from Palmer, make it 4-0 as Rolfson ran into the upstand. Trying to save that ball, but it's a 4-0 start for Minnesota and a timeout. Gophers responding after losing the third on a 4-point run to start the fourth set. 4-0 run to start the fourth set for Minnesota. They trail it 2-1 in sets to Nebraska. Both of these teams with a lot of youth on the floor. Nebraska, you see the numbers, freshman 8 out there, 5 sophomore, 13 underclassmen for the Cornhuskers. And Minnesota with the similar number, as we're going to replay that last serve. Alexandra Palmer might have gone a little bit early as she laughs it off. But Minnesota and Nebraska tied for the most underclassmen in all the Big Ten Conference with 13 each.
You talk about Nebraska's freshman class. Well, they have their freshmen playing in key positions as left side, right side hitters in the Rolfson sisters, and then just Justine Wong-Orantes as the liberos. So it's one thing to have freshmen on your roster, but to play those key positions is a completely different thing.
First point of the set to Nebraska. Nora. Robinson with the and Paul Miller pushes it to the back corner.
Well, very athletic move by Mary Paul Miller as a setter, getting way up. Take a look at how she pushes that ball deep into the corner. That's a perfectly placed attack there by Mary Paul Miller, the setter for Nebraska.
From the opposite side of the court, and the one-handed set from Palmer. Ball met at the net. A little missed time in the jump by both players. The point to the Gophers. Nebraska took the first set 25-22. It was Minnesota dominant in the second, 25-15. Third set 27-25 Nebraska. Here's Katie Rolfson. Good effort by Justine Wong-Orantes. Another chance for Rolfson as she goes off the block.
Again, I'm so impressed with the libero for Nebraska, Justine Wong-Arantes, keeping the ball alive, low to the ground, very aggressive, very courageous digs that we're seeing from her tonight.
Dolly Santana catches the line.
That's a big-time swing by Dolly Santana. Good approach, fast arm, coming through, hitting the ball deep in the corner. Key shot.
Santana now into double figures, third different player for Minnesota with 10+ kills. 2 players for the Huskers over 10. There's Amber Rolfson on the left. Another good up by Wong-Arantes. Out of play though on the attack air, and it's a 7-3 lead for Minnesota.
On that particular shot, you could see where Nebraska's hitter was trying to place the shot, and sometimes you just have to place it with a little bit of velocity behind it as well, or the ball will sail long as it did in that shot.
Paul Miller just dumps it over for the point. We've seen her do that a few times this afternoon for Nebraska, and it's been effective.
See the server waiting for the call from John Cook. He gives the service zones.
Did not catch any one of the zones that time by Katie Rolfson, so another service there. Their 5th now for Nebraska in the match.
The zone, though, was to try and pull Lawmaster back on serve receive, so that's why the ball went long. You saw Lawmaster moving back, so at least the ball didn't go in the middle of the net. He hates when that happens.
Tip from Kelsey Robinson. The Gophers can't get to it.
There's a lot of communication that goes on the court. So as the hitter is going up to swing, players are watching for where that right back player is. And if the tip is open, they're shouting tip, tip, tip. And they know exactly whether to tip over the block or to the left front area of the court.
There's Tori Dixon off the hands. Good job by Dixon as Minnesota up 9-5.
Dixon is able to use that slide approach when the pass goes up to the setter. As soon as the setter moves off the net, it's impossible for Dixon to move around and have a clear approach. So the key for Minnesota, in order to get Dixon involved, is to pass well.
The ace for Dolly Santana. That was very close. The line judge says it did catch the line. Let's take a look.
If any part of the ball touches the line, it's in, and to me that looked like that ball landed in.
The white of the line, this one in play as well. The overpass created, but Whitman can't put it down. But the block comes through for Minnesota.
Well, Kelsey Robinson with a little bit of hesitation. The ball was set a little low, a little tight, a little inside. She just needed to poke the ball over. She wanted to place it, but Dixon, huge physical presence at the net, is able to seal that cross-court roll shot.
Just the second block of the match for Tori Dixon. That one into the net by Santana, but a couple of points created off her serve.
You know, it's amazing when you think Santana is just a sophomore. She plays with so much poise and confidence. She's steady Eddie out there, contributing in so many ways.
Dolly Santana out of Puerto Rico, came in as a 17-year-old as a freshman last year and made a big contribution. And the same in her sophomore season. Whitman terminates for Minnesota.
That's the type of shot Whitman needs to keep hitting, that deep cross-court shot that goes over top of the block. And again, we focus on her. You know, she's got a different type of arm swing, and so what she absolutely needs to have is a good extended approach.
There's Megan Haggerty on the slide that you like, Audrey. She comes through.
Yeah, I like it when the ball is set low and fast to her and she's got to speed up to get to it. That's when she's her most aggressive. Take a look at her foot speed. One blocker against her, she nails it down the line.
Back to Whitman. Plenty of time on that approach. She goes off the block.
Well, this is a great battle that we're seeing here. Right now, both teams are passing well. Hitters are swinging well. This is good Big Ten volleyball that we're watching.
So the first set be tight and the third, but the second was all Minnesota, and right now, 6-point margin in the fourth set, trying to force a decisive fifth. Robinson chases his ball down, free ball opportunity for the Gophers. Lawmaster will set to Nora. Good coverage by Wong-Arantes. And off the block, another kill for Katie Rolfson.
It's a nice long rally. Both teams were in it to win it. Katie does a nice job of terminating from the left side. Boy, these girls are getting a lot of attempts. And when this one gets extended 4 or 5 sets, boy, their legs have jumped a lot. So a lot of times it comes down to the team that is the most physically fit and can take big approaches and big jumps on the ball.
Doesn't look like any fatigue for Ashley Whitman.
None whatsoever.
She's on the right side for the kill. She'll head back to serve.
Yeah, we don't get to see her swinging very much from that right side on serve receive. She does a nice job of getting a kill there from right front.
38 attempts for Whitman. Blocked for Tappanora.
Just not a smart attack choice. You don't want to take a bad ball like this and hit low into the blocker's hands. There's a tip open in right front, go high off the blocker's hands, roll shot, do something different. You don't want to hit it right into the teeth of the block.
BTN goes where you want, when you want it with BTN to Go, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. Watch live volleyball on your computer, tablet, or smartphone. To learn more, visit btntogo.com. Also available in the App Store and on Google Play. John Cook in the huddle demonstrating where the block was going to be and what his players should be trying to do against the jump of the Minnesota block, and trying to get his players to come back here in the fourth set.
You know, when you have a young team like this, John Cook needs to manage them and continue to teach them little nuances of the game. You know, these are very good players. However, there's a lot of coaching that still needs to be done when you've got such a young squad.
John Cook said early in the season there was some Volleyball 101 that they had to bring in for so many young players and then newcomers on this squad, but they've shown that they can execute at the highest level in the Big Ten Conference, right now facing the 7-point deficit.
Yeah, they certainly have a talented group of kids, but again, you know, they're not without flaws, and every opportunity when you step out on the court is a learning opportunity, and coaches take advantage of that. Real test of patience maybe for John Cook with some of these errors, but nonetheless, Nebraska is doing very well despite a young team.
Minnesota, a young team as well, but a little bit more experience when you have players like Ashley Whitman, as well as Tori Dixon on the floor, Palmer, a senior, same libero and Lawmaster, a young team, but similar young effort, but Nora on the right side for the Gophers.
The block again for Nebraska has not found a way to get positive touches on the ball. She's getting clear shots. Let's take a look at it again. It's a solid block that time. That's where defense needs to try and get a hand under the ball, get that ball up in play.
Set from Palmer went to Nora. Here's Paul Miller. Kelsey Fien back in, and she goes off the antenna, so the point to Minnesota. And the fourth set is turning into the second set, all one-sided to Minnesota.
Right, and this is where you see John Cook putting in some players to try to be a little more productive offensively.
CeCe Hall with a missed hit, but it still lands on the floor.
Hey, you take what you can get at this point. Every point matters, every ball matters, so even a miss-hit shot that scores is a good one, and Nebraska should be celebrating as if they just won the set.
Be Paul Miller back to serve. She has a couple of aces already. The float serve over. Paul Miller to tap. Fien with the swing off the block. And there's some celebration from the Huskers.
Well, defensive get again by the libero for Nebraska, keeping the ball in play. Spectacular dig on her part.
Palmer with the long set to Santana. Fien again with the swing on the left side. up by Robinson. Amber Rolfson to the back row.
Defensive plays like that will help Nebraska get back into this fourth set. Kelsey Robinson is just in the right spot, gets her arms under the ball, and then the play continues. Nice deep roll shot, scores one for Nebraska.
14 digs for Kelsey Robinson. Nora, though, adding to her career match as Nora now with her 17th kill.
You don't have to build this kid's confidence. Number 16 for Minnesota is on fire tonight.
Lawmaster, though, into the net. Nebraska down by 6. They are capable of making a run as Katie Rolfson will check back in. Kelsey Fiend to the bench, and Rolfson will serve.
You know, and if you're Nebraska, you have to realize you are on the road and you are up 2-1. A little push here in the fourth set is what you want to do. You want to play flawlessly, really go after it.
You speak of flawless play, that might be Adriana Nora in this match.
Yeah, she is single-handedly keeping Minnesota in this one. In every set, she has played big time. And there you see she does have the ability to hit a line shot. I questioned it. She's proven me wrong here. She has every shot.
Santana high off the block of the Cornhuskers. And 5 points from sending this to a 5th set are the Gophers.
Well, Santana hits it so hard, it actually goes off of Cece Hall's head. So that tells you how high Cecilia Hall jumps, but nonetheless, Santana with that wicked arm swing, she scores a big one.
A moment to dust off the cobwebs for Cecilia Hall after taking that ball off the head.
It would take me a while to get back into it, I'll tell you that much.
Shawback setting, she goes to Santana. Ball rolls to the floor for Nebraska. Again, the changes, you see Alicia Ostrander come in for Nebraska. Haggerty checks back on the floor, but really seeing almost the entire roster for the Cornhuskers this afternoon.
Right, and it's a good thing when you come in and you contribute a positive play. The problem is when you get your subs in, you seem a little out of rhythm. You know, you're used to playing around certain people, and so as much as John Cook is trying to, you know, tell his team something by putting in the subs, is much better, and you're much more comfortable with your starting 6 and your subs that come in at a certain time.
The fourth set may have gotten away from Nebraska. As Dolly Santana will try to close it out from the service line. We saw an ace from her earlier. Robinson, second chance, another block for Minnesota.
Well, the key for Minnesota right now, slowing Kelsey Robinson down, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're getting good touches on the ball. You can see that they're waiting there, but look at number 3, Katie Shaw, just 5'8", getting her hands over and stopping Kelsey Robinson from scoring.
Miller to Haggerty, side out for the Cornhuskers, and they may be down and possibly out of this fourth set, Audrey, but what do you want to see from Nebraska to close out these final few points of the fourth set to carry over some possible momentum into the fifth?
Well, it was the same thing that I said in the second set. You want to end knowing that you competed hard. You may not win this set, and that, you know, it's never okay, but you want to end knowing that you fought hard and you didn't give Minnesota easy points.
Fighting on this rally and out of play. Paul Miller can't believe it as the ball does not touch the line. The point to Minnesota. Another look at it.
Ooh, that ball looked into me.
Should have gone Nebraska's way. Here's Robinson. Met at the net. Paul Miller forced to just put it over. Back set from Shaw to Dixon. catches the line, and it's set point Minnesota.
We did not see that set happen very often, and there you see her dad cheering for her. A nice back row attack from Dixon. And good little change-up set there by Minnesota.
Tori Dixon serving to send this to set 5. Shot to Tap. The tip does not catch the line, point to the Huskers.
But Tap had the right idea. When the left side blocker moves in to block you as a middle attacker, that left front area of the court is open. So she had the right idea, just touched it a little too hard and it went wide.
There's Whitman, and that'll do it for the 4th set. We're going 5 in the Sports Pavilion again between these two teams. Minnesota comes back to win the 4th set. A decisive 5th coming up on BTN between two top 15 teams when we return. Set 5 coming up in Minneapolis as Minnesota takes the 4th and has a chance to pull off the win against Nebraska at home. Adriana Nora with a career match. She has got the effort this afternoon coming through with 18 kills.
Yeah, she's been unstoppable. Take a look at the range of her hits, cross court, down the line, moving in, doing a good job of blocking. So here in the 5th set, you want to give Nora the most opportunities to swing at the beginning of the match. So I would not be surprised if Coach Hugh McCutcheon starts her in left front so that she can go the entire front row and get a lot of swings at the ball early on.
Nora 18, Kelsey Robinson with 18 kills. Ashley Whitman has 18 as well. And Minnesota, last time they played in a 5-set match was against Purdue just over a week ago. And you see the 5-set records, Nebraska 3-1, Minnesota 3-2. But in that 5-set match at Purdue, it was Ashley Whitman who had 4 kills in the 5th set, and Purdue sided out at a 100% rate. They'd love to do that again.
That's an incredible performance.
So John Cook and his young team, can they put it together in the 5th set on the road? Seen some outstanding volleyball on both sides of the net. A match that has gone back and forth. Which team will take control in the 5th? Race to 15 points.
And it's important, Mike, to note who gets the first serve as well, because you can attack from the service line, really set a tone for the match, or I'm sorry, for the set. So we'll see who gets the first serve.
Always Santana would like to have a run from the service line. May not be the first one back there serving.
Well, it is a coin toss in the 5th, so we'll see who won that coin toss. Yeah.
Appear that Nebraska will start serving in the 5th set. It will be Mary Paul Miller, 2 aces already for her. 2nd place in the Big Ten Conference on the line as we start the 5th set between Nebraska and Minnesota. Out of system are the Gophers. Paul Miller, the back set to Amber Rolfs. Hugh McCutcheon wants a call and potentially a lift, but the swing in the first point goes to Nebraska.
Well, it seemed like all 6 players on the court and Coach Hugh McCutcheon called for the lift. They did not get it. Let's take a look at it again. Yeah, open hand. They had reason to argue that one, that's for sure.
Saw Hugh McCutcheon run from his spot on the sideline. Tip from Nora. Coverage by Wong-Arantes. Again, Katie Rolfson. She has Nebraska off to a 2-0 start in the 5th.
It's a good swing from Nebraska. If you are Minnesota's hitters, no tipping here in the 5th. You've got to swing first, get the defense on their heels, and then mix and roll shots and tips.
Overpass, 3rd straight point for Nebraska.
So oftentimes in the 5th set, it comes down to serving and passing. Hugh McCutcheon calling a timeout before this one gets out of hand.
Katie Rolfson For the Huskers, a Big Ten Freshman of the Year candidate with the 3 first points of the 5th set for the Huskers. The standings, these two teams fighting it out for second place. If Minnesota can win, it will be a tie for second place. A victory for the Huskers, they will remain in sole possession of second place and have a chance to go after Penn State for the Big Ten title. Both of these teams in the mix for the conference crown. Last year it was this match won by Minnesota that's decided there would be a tie at second place in the Big Ten. Service there from Paul Miller and the first point to Minnesota of the 5th set.
Right, and it's interesting to me that Adriana Nora is in the backcourt here in the 5th set. I would have thought she would have played 3 rotations in the front since she's been such a factor offensively.
Attack air, though, from the Huskers, and just a 1-point deficit, so that 3-0 start being forgotten a little bit here as we see Minnesota down by 1. Nora at the back line. Overpass created, and Santana takes advantage. We're tied.
Well, Nora's serve key right now. They're picking on the libero there. There you can see that aggressive overpass kill by Santana. That's a huge hit.
Tied at 3 in the 5th set. We talk about, Audrey, the placement in the Big Ten standings and also where either one of these teams would have a chance to go after Penn State for the Big Ten title, because both of these teams will face Penn State once more before the end of the regular season. But dropping this match for either team could potentially put them out of the race, because Penn State has 2 challenging matches on the road against Nebraska and Minnesota. They're playing so well right now, you have to keep pace with the Nittany Lions.
Right, and you know, don't be mistaken though, these teams are focusing on this match at hand right now. Minnesota definitely wants to show that what happened earlier on in the season was a fluke. They are competing so much better here tonight. And for Nebraska, boy, this young team, to win on the road is difficult. They are competing hard. We saw some lull in their play in the 2nd and 4th set, but very aggressive play here, and they are neck and neck with Minnesota right now in the 5th.
Nebraska won in straight sets at home against Minnesota. A 5th set for the 2nd consecutive year on the road in the Sports Pavilion. To Katie Rolfson, 4 points for Nebraska, all 4 from Rolfson.
Well, Rolfson hitting a line shot was key on that play. Turning her shoulders mid-air, getting a good, solid contact on the ball and hitting high over top of the blocker's hands.
Back-to-back matches with 19 kills for Katie Rolfson, tying a career high again. And the stuff for the Huskers. Amber Rolfson and Cecilia Hall combined.
Well, when that block for Nebraska gets going, boy, good things happen and they look unstoppable. The key is to get to the outside quick, get hip to hip, reach back to the middle of the court. Do not reach out to the ball.
There's Tori Dixon. Robinson into the Minnesota block. It'll be a free ball opportunity for the Huskers. Back to Kelsey Robinson. Block again there for Minnesota. Diving set for Paul Miller. Good job again by Wong-Arantes. And out of play with a touch call on the point to Nebraska.
This is what makes Kelsey Robinson spectacular. A cut above the rest. She gets blocked twice. At no time did she think about tipping the ball. She was going to go and swing, and if she was going down, she was going to go down swinging hard.
Shaw to Santana, and a big swing from Dolly Santana.
Man, that hurts.
See some ferocity from Santana
Wow.
as she goes back to the line.
You want to talk about competitive spirit. Look at that, and the crowd goes wild. And when you get hit in the head, boy, you want to get up quick and make it look like, hey, that was nothing, that didn't hurt one bit. But we know that right now she feels like her nose is on the side of her head.
Robinson, first ball side out that Nebraska needed.
It's a key swing right there. That's the confidence that you want from your left side. But the key here is passing well. The serve is controlled with a good serve receive right up to the setter. The ball can be set to the outside lower. It's not that Kelsey Robinson can't hit a high ball. It's that when the ball is set lower, there are angles and seams in the block that she can hit out.
Tori Dixon, back to what you were talking about, it was Justine Wong-Arantes who received that serve and was able to have the good pass for Nebraska, and you can't downplay her efforts in this match. 22 digs for Justine Wong-Arantes, big reason why Nebraska's in this 5th set on the road. Paul Miller back to Robinson. 21st kill now for Kelsey Robinson, and we will switch sides as the Huskers up 8-5.
Well, let's take a look at this dynamic attack by Kelsey Robinson. Again, they're in system. Boy, does she get up there. And then she's got so much of that competitive spirit in her. And that's not to say other people aren't competitive. Look at Santana out there. There's something special and intangible about Kelsey Robinson. I do think Santana has it in her too, but Santana just a sophomore. Robinson with a little bit more experience and a tad bit more fight to her.
Intensity on both sides of the net. As Brenna Lyles comes in to serve for Nebraska. Palmer has to chase it down. Great dig by Santana. Swing for Whitman. There's Robinson getting to the ball, but it's out of play.
She was going for a finesse shot deep down the line. Good defensive effort by her teammates. Bad error right now for Robinson. She never quits talking. She's calling for the set. She wants it as a setter. That's exactly what you want. Player like that on your side of the net.
There's Haggerty. Ballmaster just gives up her body to dig that ball. Over, set down to the point for the Huskers. Great decision just to put it into the open space, Justine Wong-Arantes.
That's a good heads-up play. There you see a little beach move by her. A lot of beach players have these crafty skills, and she's demonstrating hers right there with that play.
And the beach player she is. She's a very decorated beach player. There she gets the up, comes on to Minnesota's side. Katie Rolfson on the tip. Pancake from Palmer. Whitman puts it over lightly. Robinson out of the back row. And Robinson terminates. You said that she's calling for the ball. When we talked to her this week, she says she always wants the ball.
That's right. She wants every single ball. An important note for Minnesota on that rally. Whitman was playing the right side. Nora was playing the left. Take a look at this defensive effort. Nice pancake dig, we call that, when the hand slides right under the ball. Take a look at Robinson taking her first step as the setter is touching the ball. That means the setter can set the ball lower, and that attack comes at you very quickly.
Kelsey Robinson with 22 kills, and we get a look back at that last sequence before when she went up to the block multiple times and stuck with it to get the point.
Yeah, you know, you want that from your left side, just that toughness. She doesn't have a low mental breaking point. In fact, I don't know if we'll ever see a mental breaking point for Kelsey Robinson. So strong mentally, takes big swings for her team. There she is.
In between the 4th and the 5th set, this is her talking to her team, a young group, the only senior who sees significant playing time on the floor in her first season with Nebraska, but that's the case for the majority of these players, so she's the one who's had to step into that leadership role. John Cook said there's been some bumps along the way, but she has done a great job developing as a leader for this Husker squad.
Right, Cook said at the beginning of the season, people didn't know how to take her. She was so intense, and it was kind of like, hey, she said, jump on my bandwagon or get out of my way type of attitude. But you know what? You can't fault that. That's what makes her so incredibly special as a competitor out on the floor.
That's the level of intensity that is not as common as you would expect throughout Big Ten women's volleyball. We've talked throughout this season about needing more intensity. Kelsey Robinson does not. She's got a lot on the floor. 10-6 lead. Out of the timeout, Gophers go to Whitman. And two players combine. As two Huskers run into each other to point to the Gophers.
You know, but you'd rather see two players going hard for the ball than letting the ball drop. So that type of error is okay. That means that players were determined not to let that ball hit the ground.
And with the up for Minnesota. Out of play by Nora and one of her few errors this afternoon.
Well, Palmer with an interesting choice, back setting it clear across the court to the right front area. Yes, Nora is the go-to hitter, but in that situation, you just want to put up a nice ball and just let your outside, your left side hitter take a whack at it.
Long match for Adriana Nora. She's gotten a bunch of swings. 18 kills for her on 40 attacks, make it 41 attacks. That one out of play, though, and back-to-back errors. It has Nebraska 3 points from the 5th set win.
Well, that ball was close. Here's a ball in system. She takes a nice whack at the ball. That one is very close. Both teams celebrating the point, but the ball goes to Nebraska.
Ollie Santana off the block.
Well, I love the fight in this sophomore. Every time she gets an opportunity to swing, she's swinging big. She's got a lot of that competitive spirit that we're talking about. Just a sophomore with a ton of potential and room to grow, but boy, she is doing a nice job right now for Minnesota.
There's Katie Rolfson, who started the 5th set with 4 consecutive kills, making another. 2 points away are the Cornhuskers from a huge road win.
Yeah, this is a big one for Nebraska. If they can finish this off, winning on the road and winning with such a young squad is very impressive.
Play, though, on the service error. These two teams on November 16th last year played a 5-set match. That one was decided 21-19, a Minnesota victory. So they know about lengthy matches between these two squads. So wouldn't be surprised to see Minnesota put together a run. Back to Katie Rolfson. A block for the Gophers.
Well, I did want to note that Katie Shaw has rotated in the front court. 5'8" blocker, not a huge block, but look she's got some good jumping ability. She's not huge in terms of size at 5'8", but she has a nice standing jump and seals the net there on that particular block. Big point for her team.
Katie Shaw has a kill in this match, 23 assists as well, and not just her second block, but a huge block for Minnesota as the freshman involved, and it's a 13-10 lead in the 5th set. Take us into each huddle here, Audrey. What are the coaches saying to their teams?
Well, right now, because Minnesota has served, you've got to control the pass. You've got to make sure you're in system. And at this point, you want to go to your big hitters. You're only 2 points down, so you're talking strategy. Minnesota right now, because they are serving the ball, you want to talk about who the potential hitters are. How do you want to block and dig? And they're talking angles. What are these hitters' favorite shots? Who's going to get the ball? Don't be late on the block. Hugh McCutcheon motivating his team right now in the huddle.
Take a look at some of the numbers for Nebraska. Katie Rolfson, career high 20 kills and 11 digs. Kelsey Robinson, 22 kills, 18 digs, almost a 20-20 effort for her. And those two players on the left side making the difference for the Cornhuskers, not only in their kills, but so strong defensively as well.
Yeah, and you don't usually see that, players that can play 6 rotations, they're involved in serve-receive. So both of those players, really impressive for Nebraska.
John Cook covets 6 rotation players. One of the best we've seen in quite some time. Kelsey Robinson for the Cornhuskers, 2 points away, but Minnesota with Nora serving, trying to come back in the 5th. Service there, and it's match point for Nebraska.
That's a disappointing error for somebody who's had such a spectacular performance, hitting and blocking. Boy, that is a costly service error.
Katie Rolfson will serve for Nebraska. Shaw over on 2. gets a little tripped up with a point. The Gophers.
Well, she keeps her team in it. Nobody was on her. This ball was very well passed, tight to the net. You can see number 9 for Nebraska, Cecilia Hall, not going up to block that attack.
Santana back at the service line. Here's Paul Miller to Robinson. Over pass, good opportunity for the Huskers. Back to Kelsey Robinson, off the block, and Nebraska wins it in 5 and remains in second place in the Big Ten.
Well, what an impressive performance by Nebraska. What a special player in Kelsey Robinson. Also the other outside hitter for them, Katie Rolfson. Boy, this is a huge road win for Nebraska.
23rd kill of the match for Kelsey Robinson, along with their jersey number, as this was the winning point for the Cornhuskers in the 5th set. Letting go some of that energy is the victory for Nebraska on the road. A huge weekend sweep against Wisconsin and Minnesota for the Huskers. They remain in the Big Ten title race as they beat Minnesota in 5 sets